customers. Okay. So a neat caveat to this is looking at how silica to alumina ratios affect the crawling. Okay, so these glazes fall in this region here. Okay, now we are crossing into a matte region, and oh look, we've got all of these crawling glazes that happen to fall within the matte region. Why? Because they are precipitating crystals, as we just talked about in gonite. They are matte glazes. They just happen to crawl before they melt. You got to crawl before you can melt. So they have this different performance, but they are still crawling glazes because they are matte glazes, because there's gonite growing in them, as I just showed you from the nickel tests. Okay. Now we do get several effects, and this is what Rob figured out that was so smart, which is as you increase the alumina, okay, you get different glaze fit, and we'll look about how the glaze fit works in a second, but you get different levels of crawling. Okay, very fat, and it gets thinner till it gets very, very thin with higher alumina levels. This line is 0.7, 0.6, 0.5. Again, working within the matte glaze phase field across that glaze formation boundary. And then as you add silica, the glazes begin to stabilize. Super, super important, okay? Because it makes sort of not logical sense unless you're thinking about how Stoll works instead of how materials work. You think, oh, I'm adding in silica, so my glaze is going to melt more, but silica is a glass former and it's adding temperature and all that. Yeah, that's not how it works. Stoll is how it works. And again, so we fall within the matte region and we get crawling, and you can change it based on the composition. So you move around this region and you get different levels of crawling. It's really, really simple, really, really beautiful. Okay, and again, we've got this. Now, the one thing I will say about crawling and glaze application is one thing here, which is, it's sort of hard to see, but if you notice, like if I draw a line here, the crawls on this side are super fat, and on this side, they're much skinnier. And what this is 2 dips on the fat side and 1 dip on the skinny side. So the thicker the application, the more the glaze crawled into big crawls versus